In this video, I'm going to show you how to do a Scree plot, which is consistent with the textbook where I describe 9 subtests of intelligence, and I'm trying to find out how many dimensions to extract from the data. And as I mentioned in the textbook, you do a factor analysis kind of twice in order to first identify the factors that you should extract and then actually doing the analysis with that number extracted. So in order to get a Scree plot in SPSS, click on Analyze, Dimension Reduction Factor, and then place all the variables in the Variables box. This is the slow way to do it. You can also just highlight, Shift, and place all the variables in there, and then go on to Extraction. And we're doing principal components. You could do any type you want. It won't make a difference to the Scree plot. So that's something to keep in mind. The Scree plot is always based on principal component eigenvalues. It doesn't matter what else you select. And then you can click on Continue. We don't really need to pay attention to anything else. If we were doing a full factor analysis, we would, but we're not. We're just identifying the number of factors in a Scree plot right now. Then click OK. And SPSS will take, depending on the system you have, a few seconds to run. So here we have the output, and we're going to ignore communalities, total variance explain. We're getting to the Scree plot. This is really what we want. This doesn't look like what you see in the textbook, but if you double click on the image and then double click it again, you can change the size to something that is square. Usually Scree plots look best when they're in a square format, equal length as to height, and then get rid of this probably. Just highlight it and click delete and then close, and this is starting to look like a Scree plot that you could potentially publish. Double click on the size of the scale, and then we want to have increments of 0.5. I'm just getting this a little bit closer to what I put in the textbook, and also increase the size to maybe 11 and maybe bold it. Yeah, and so then we got here, that's actually in a 12 font, so I'm going to change that, 11 and bold. And you could do some work. You can get rid of these lines, double click on it, and then for the line you might want to click no line, and then click on that, then get out of it. And let's look at the Scree plot now. This is looking pretty good. And we can see the Scree plot with a really high eigenvalue of something like 4.2. It's 4.179. These are the initial eigenvalues, and this is what's going into the scatter plot, all these values here. And we can see that 4.179 is very large, and then there's really quite a conspicuous break in the Scree plot over here. But there's also a break in the Scree plot over here. This is almost certainly just random variance, just noise. And then there's a break here, but I'm not entirely sure if it's a statistically significant break. I definitely know that this one over here is definitely a significant. And this is the problem with Scree plots, is that there's a bit of subjective judgment, and this is really quite a good example of a Scree plot that is not really 100% forthcoming with respect to the number of factors to extract or dimensions. And that's why in the textbook I followed it up with a parallel analysis, which I'll do in a next video.